Hello, my name is Pavel. Welcome back to my channel. If you can't tell, our setting is a little bit different, hence the Christmas tree. And I'm really excited about that. Usually I don't really like Christmas. Okay, well, let me kind of clarify and explain what I mean. I like the aesthetic of Christmas, but I just don't like Christmas Day itself. But this is the first year I have my own tree in my own apartment, and that makes me so fucking excited. And I can't wait. And look at it. I'm looking at it on my little screen here. It looks so cute. It's kind of funny. The theme of Christmas is usually like super happy, and it's about family and bringing everybody together and just having a great time. And it's a little bit ironic because today's video is the absolute opposite of that. Today, if you haven't read the title, I'm going to be watching my first ever David Lynch movie, and this is either going to be an extremely pretentious video or it's going to be a video where I'm talking utter shit because I am so lost and I do not know what I'm talking about. The reason I say that is because David Lynch is known for having movies that just are extremely confusing on the surface. And you know, I kind of told a little bit of a lie. This isn't the first time I've watched a David Lynch movie. When I was 15, I watched Mulholland Drive. I hope I said that correctly. Watched that when I was like a 14, 15-year-old kid. I was so confused because I remember Googling, what does this movie mean? And trying to find a concrete explanation as to what the ending meant. And obviously, I'm like 9 years older now, which is terrifying. But I'm 9 years older now, and I feel like I want to give David Lynch a proper try because everybody that I watch on YouTube that talks about movies always speaks about him and speaks so highly of him, and I know very little about him. The only thing I actually know about him, which kind of inspired this video, is that he makes daily weather reports and picks a daily number. 6. I accidentally stumbled across his YouTube channel. Like, I've seen it on Twitter and stuff like that, and I was so curious to watch it, and I kind of find it like weirdly interesting that he just talks about the weather. It's super simple, but David Lynch isn't just like a director, he's like an artist and everything, and a painter, I believe. So I feel like this, like him posting these videos, is like some form of like performance art or something along those lines. Again, I could be talking out of my ass, and I definitely am. So anyway, I saw this and I was like, maybe I should make a video where I actually properly watch David Lynch. I'm saying properly because I've watched Mulholland Drive before and obviously didn't appreciate it. I remember I was on my phone, I was very confused, I was so young. So this is going to be my proper first time watching his movies, and I'm really excited. My hair is absolutely crazy because I like dried it with a fan, but I feel like it matches the guy from Eraserhead because I've seen like clips from it and I've seen references to this movie from like a Bo Burnham song. I think he mentions that something looks like the baby from Eraserhead, which kind of makes me really curious. And also David Lynch, I know he has a short movie called Rabbits, and that is referenced in a music video that I really love by the 1975. So I'll put like 2 clips here from both things. Before even filming this video, I tried to research kind of like David Lynch's creative process, but the more he speaks about it, he's like, I dive into my subconscious and bring it to my conscious, and then I just write everything down. And the more he talks about it, the more it makes me confused because I'm going to admit it, and it's so apparent that I have no idea what I'm talking about and I don't understand it, and I'm not smart in that way at all. I'm kind of excited by the fact that I'm going into this and I'm expecting not to get answers. I'm expecting to be confused, and that kind of makes me happy because I'm not trying to figure it out. I'm just going to let it do its thing to me, and I'm just going to try appreciate it and see what I can get from it. And I think that's probably like the best way to watch movies like this. And my expectations are, once again, I'm going to be really confused. It's going to be aesthetic. I feel like it's in black and white, and I feel like it's going to have really weird imagery, and I feel like weird is like it's like a very vague word for what it's actually going to be. Also, I forgot to mention, David Lynch has the best fucking hair ever. The dude's like fairly old. He's not old, but he's like fairly old, and he looks good. He looks so aesthetically pleasing, and it's like, I'm so jealous. I'm genuinely so jealous of him. The last thing I want to say before I kind of watch this movie is that I know I'm only watching one movie, but I feel like it would just be too much, and I don't want this video to be super long with me watching loads of movies, so I'm just going to watch Eraserhead today, see how I feel, and if I really like it, if I enjoy it and I find it kind of like thought-provoking, I'm going to watch more movies and I'll make a second video and things like that. But I just feel like it's good to start with one, and Eraserhead is this first full-length feature, I believe. So why not start there? So I think that's everything that I need to say about David Lynch. You obviously know who he is, and I'm going to stop talking. So yeah, let's go watch David Lynch. Be right back.
I'm so depressed I don't know what I'm doing. I have not got a clue.
Okay, I'm finished watching Eraserhead. But before I talk about it, I feel like we need to change the aesthetic of this video to suit the discussion. So I think that's a little bit better. Okay, so I have my iPad in my hands because I took down so many notes about this movie. But before I speak about it, let me read you the synopsis, because if you are anything like me, you have no idea what this movie is about, because I went into this movie knowing absolutely nothing. And I feel like that might be the best way to watch it. But if you do want to know what it's about, listen up, okay? The synopsis reads: Henry Spencer tries to survive his industrial environment, his angry girlfriend, and the unbearable screams of his newly born mutant child. Even from the synopsis, this movie already seems like a big ball of anxiety in 90 minutes, which is the first thing I want to talk about with this movie. I absolutely loved that this film is 90 minutes long. If you know me, you know that 90 minutes is a great number for when it comes to the length of a movie. And I was so happy to see that. And I feel like if I had more than 90 minutes of this, I feel like I would be even more confused. Believe it or not, I know I said I'm going to be super confused and I'm not going to understand anything. I feel like I have a few little theories about what this movie is about, which I will get into throughout this little review. So let me quickly read my notes and let's see what I have wrote down about this film. So the first point I have in my notes is that I've been putting this movie off for so long, simply for the fact that I thought I would be too stupid and it's just not accessible to me because of, I don't know, I feel like I just wouldn't understand it. I feel like that was a lot better than I thought it would be, because I really enjoyed it and had a really good time, and I loved that I didn't understand everything, because it's one of those movies that really challenged me. It kind of made me either sit back and just let it happen, or made me kind of like sit forward and think like, what does this really mean? Is this like a metaphor for this? Is this a metaphor for that? And obviously I don't have the answers, but I do have a few theories. So I wish I didn't put it off for so long, because I've heard about this movie for ages, and I've obviously known about Lynch for years, ever since I've been 15, because I watched it, but obviously I didn't appreciate things back then, but I do now, and I really do want to explore more of his movies. So spoiler, I'm gonna say it at the end again, but I do want to watch more of his films and make maybe another video about him. So this is a movie I gave all of my attention to. Whenever I watched him when I was 15, I was on my phone, I was talking to my friends, but with this film, I just sat in the dark and I watched it, and I feel like that's the best way to watch a movie like that, especially with the aesthetic of this movie, which is something I really loved. Henry looks so badass, and he has really cool hair, just like David Lynch does, and the black and white looks really good, and kind of like the eerie environment that's created throughout the movie is great. And I think I saw in some interview on YouTube that this movie kind of reflected, the setting of this movie reflected David Lynch's adolescence. So maybe that's something to do with him, like that's him within this movie. This movie kind of started and I was like, surely I'm not going to be that confused, and then the dinner scene table happened with like the chicken. I'll put it up here so you know what I mean. That's why I was confused. And then when I saw the baby in this is absolutely terrifying. And I think everything that I have mentioned does tie in with my little theory that I have of this. And my theory is that maybe this movie kind of represents a fear and anxiety of generic structure of life, which is expressed in kind of like a nightmare form. And this movie also, I feel like, touches on wanting to pursue something creative, but also being terrified of it because of its representation. Maybe like it comes across as something ugly. Like the dancer in this movie, I feel like to me represents creativity and pursuing something creative, but it looks ugly and it's kind of like something that is fearful. But wanting to pursue that is more attractive than wanting to pursue living like a generic life of having a kid, of having a girlfriend, which is all represented as something absolutely terrifying, as something of a nightmare. And even the scenes of meeting the girlfriend's parents kind of like pursues that idea of it being terrifying. And maybe this movie is about wanting to pursue that creativity, but being absolutely terrified of it because it's this big, ugly, unknown thing. And it's like this career path that is seen as stupid. And maybe since this is his first feature, it's like a big metaphor for Lynch wanting to pursue that, but to him being something terrifying. But also the alternative of living a boring 9-to-5 life was also terrifying too, and having kids and stuff like that was terrifying and something that he didn't want to do. I have no idea if that made sense, but that was kind of like the general takeaway that I got from this movie. That was kind of like the mindset that I had after I finished this. I was like, oh, maybe like all the things that are presented as ugly and terrifying is something that he doesn't want or something that he's afraid of. Maybe this movie captures his fears and anxieties in obviously a visual way and in a very unique way and in a way that I really like. I really loved like all the visuals in this movie, all the special effects. The music was great and I love how quiet the movie was and the characters were so creepy, and I feel like that's very successful in what it wanted to do. And I really did enjoy this movie. I feel like when I'm talking about it, I'm definitely not bringing anything new to the table because like this movie's been out since 77, I think. And you know, I'm not going to contribute anything new to it. I just want to share my thoughts and feelings about it. And it's something that I really liked. And I'm definitely going to watch a lot of his other movies because I'm quite fascinated about it. And I'm quite curious. And I like that I'm being challenged. And I've heard that like his later movies are a little bit more welcoming to the people who get confused very easily and just don't know what's happening, aka me. But overall, I really liked Eraserhead. Let me quickly check my notes just to make sure I haven't missed anything because I feel like I've just been talking and not reading what I actually had down. You know, honestly, I actually think I said everything I wanted to say. The last thing I said was, even though I'm confused and feel stupid, I'm excited and curious to watch more because it's challenging and I love that. Hey, and I think that summarizes how I feel. I fucking loved it. I'm trying to communicate everything that I want to say, but overall, it was a great movie and I'm definitely going to watch more of his work, and I'm so glad I made this video, and I'm so glad that I checked out his first movie because it's definitely giving me that push to watch the rest of his films. But yeah, do you like David Lynch? Have you seen Eraserhead? What do you think it's about? Please let me know because I would love to have a discussion about this, and I hope my kind of like general idea made sense. But yeah, I think that's everything. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.